Tell us the status of Turcotte.
Still day to day, yeah.
Okay.
Still day to day. Not on the trip. Doesn't mean he couldn't join us, but he's day to day.
Okay.
Any lineup changes tonight from the last game?
No,
And your goalie is?
no lineup changes.
Got it.
When you have two goalies going the way that Talbs and Ritter are, does that make the rotation easier for you when it's two guys who are cooking instead of having to decide between two guys who are really struggling?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, we've said it, they both played well. Ritter's played really well. I mean, he's coming off a shutout, so we understand that. But we still got a lot of hockey left. Talbs will go tonight, and we'll see what happens next.
2 games with Vancouver, you played pretty well. You got points in both. Some of the things you liked in those 2 games that you hope carry over.
Well, yeah, I mean, we found a distinct difference in the 2 games, though. We really liked how we played here in Vancouver. I thought we were the aggressors, the initiators. Back in LA, I thought Vancouver had the edge in that department. They were more physical, I thought more desperate. So it was flip-flopped a little bit. We were still glad we got the point. So we're going to see tonight. We're going to have to be better than we were in LA. And we have to get back on the forecheck against this team. They skate too well. Their D, if you don't hit them, you know, you're going to have them end up playing in your own zone. That's what happened to us in LA.
The team hasn't been on the ice for a couple of days. What do you want to see early on in the game from your team?
Forecheck and physicality. I mean, it's really simple recipe for us, especially on the road. Get started, get the puck in deep, and let's get on the body. Let's let not only the other team, but let's let our teammates know we're here to play. That's job one.
What have you liked about Victor Arvidsson's energy to PL's line? Is there anything that he's done that's maybe created some more chemistry between the 3 of them?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's probably too early to think that they've got chemistry together. I just think, you know, what Victor does is very complimentary to anybody who he's going to play with. So, you know, he's got speed and he thinks offensively well. I'm sure PL likes that, you know, and Laugh has been a solid 2-way player for us, but with an offensive touch. So they all have elements there, you know, to the makings of a good line. But I would think it's too early for me to say that they've developed a chemistry together.
We've talked about Victor, you know, especially recently since he's come back. What is it about him? You call him the Energizer Buddy, but how much does he draw out of teammates? How much does his vibe, energy, whatever you want to call it, draw teammates in and
Yeah, I mean
and they feed off of that?
That's probably a better question for his teammates because they would be able to tell you directly they're getting that. But from my interpretation, just on the bench, when I talk about tonight, wanting to start the game with some aggression, with some speed, getting the puck in, you know, those are, despite his stature, those are the types of elements that Victor brings right from the first shift. So we need everybody to do that. So I would just say he's a leader on our team that way, in energizing us, in playing hard, being an aggressive player.
First time in a long time you gave up more than one power play goal on Saturday. What do you need to do tonight to make sure that doesn't happen again?
Well, I mean, it starts. The simple answer is don't take so many penalties. I know, you know, Tampa Bay's got a pretty good efficiency. This team has a great power play too. We know that. So that's where it really starts. It's keeping your sticks off people. We took 2 hookings, got us in trouble. You know, but outside of that, we're penalty kill's been very good for us all year. So we're not going to overthink that. That's a pretty incredible streak that you mentioned. We hadn't, or I hadn't at least even been aware of it until somebody started bringing it up. I just know the penalty kill's been very good, very dependable. It's won his hockey games.
I've got a little bit of a bigger question about Drew. You know, you've been around him now for the better part of 2 years. I mean, there's so many superlatives that have been said about Drew over his time and over his years. But what is it that you've come to see that marvels you about him and the fact that he still plays so much, as much as he does, at the level that he does, at the age that he is?
Yeah. There's one word for me, and that's, you know, I'll go deeper, but Drew is ultra competitive. Drew is a winner. Drew wants to win. And it doesn't matter if he's playing cards, if he's playing soccer. It just happens to be on a stage in front of 18,000 people. He's playing ice hockey. And he's done a pretty good job of winning to go with it. But it only happens when you've got that burning desire in your belly to compete, regardless of the age, and to want to win every time you step on the ice. And that's, you know, everybody has that to certain degrees, but he's got that in spades. He's got that at an elite level. level that I've really come to appreciate.
It's sustained. I mean, he's got a ton of miles on him, but it almost feels like he's got a ton more.
Well, he doesn't want to lose. So if you asked him, he probably feels fresh as a daisy because he's going out there to beat the person who's lined up against him and help carry the team into that fight and ultimately win the game. I know that's all Drew thinks about. He's not worried about the body. He's not worried about some of the other stuff. He's just out there to win a hockey game, night after night. And that's why he's had the career he has.